Hello, I'm Peggy O'Neal. Welcome to today's live learning. We're going to talk about I am right. I'm the founder of this Facebook group, Answering the Call, and we're answering the call to know who we truly are. It's that longing when we feel like something's missing. There's something, I know there's more to life. It's that longing that when we answer it and really look at it, we realize, oh, that is grace inviting me home to know who I truly am. This one shared being with everyone and everything. And then as we do that, often we also want to know, and how do I uniquely express that? So we start listening for that, discovering that, and then start uniquely expressing this knowing of who we truly are in our lives. And along the way, we've learned a lot of habits and how to communicate, think about people. And so we keep dissolving the things that are out of alignment, changing habits, dissolving things that are out of alignment, so our lives will be fully aligned with who we are. And the essence of that is love, peace, happiness, fulfillment, meaning, freedom. If you're here live, please say hi. And if you have any comments or questions throughout, let me know. I will keep checking. And if you're watching this on replay, please put in hashtag replay. Again, if you have any comments or questions, put them in the chat and I will come back and answer them. I get those notices. Okay, so, but I am right. So we're going to explore how to stay open when you know in all of your being that you're right. How do you really stay open? I'm going to offer a mind-expanding possibility for why to listen. And then how do I release a belief that I am separate from somebody else, from them? So how do we stay open when we know in all of our being we're right? Well, one of the ways is to remember that, okay, if there are 8 billion people on the planet, then there are 8 billion different points of view, even about the planet. So how is that? Well, if you ever stood in one part of a room and you see the room one way, and then you move to another part of the room, you see the room another way, it's like that no two of us can stand in the same moment in the same place. There's no way. So at any given moment, even in this room, somebody could be standing shoulder to shoulder with me. They're going to have a slightly different perspective or view of the room than I am. They're going to see things a little bit differently. And then when we're also in conversation or doing anything, the same thing. We're hearing differently. We're seeing differently. We're feeling differently. And one of the reasons all of that other is happening is because of all of our conditioning. Each of our lives has been entirely different from anyone else's. So one way to stay open is to realize I have no idea what it's like for them or what they might be thinking. There's no way I can even know that. And given that, too, they have another perspective, and there's nobody else that has my perspective, then they might have something to offer. And as Ken Wilber says, now I can't remember which way he said that, but he said either no one can be 100% wrong, or maybe he said no one can be 100% right. But it's the same thing. There's no way. We don't know everything about anything. So not even about ourselves, which would be, you would think that would be the thing that we know the most about ourselves about. Well, we don't. We don't know how cells do this or that, or just pick something in your life, and I'm sure there's something that you don't know everything about in your life. So that's one way, is to remind ourselves of that. And then also, there's a movie, Arrival, that I'd love. To me, it speaks to this and the possibility of this, where, and if you haven't seen it yet, watch it. It's great on communication and listening. But the idea, I'm going to give away part of the movie, but so if you want to watch the movie and not give away, then stop here and watch the replay, and then come back and watch the replay after you watch the movie. Okay. But in the movie, there are some pods coming from outer space. I think they wound up with 12 or 13 throughout the whole planet. And there was some crisis going on the planet, and each of the pods had a unique thing that had to be done to save the planet. but they put themselves throughout the world because the only way to get all that information was the world would have to get along. The world would have to get along. Oh, I just got chills. The world would have to get along to get all 12 of those pieces of information. No one piece alone was going to save the planet. So that to me is another idea, and that's part of the mind-blowing, mind-expanding possibility for why to listen. What if in my organization, in my family, that other person's perspective is exactly what's going to help us in this situation? And in fact, if we're all in the same organization, we're all in the same family, maybe like those pods from outer space that each knew what we needed to know, and they were ready to share it if we just get along or be curious. The same thing maybe in our families, our organizations, to really listen in that curious, mind-blowing, yeah, maybe each of us is in this organization for that unique piece. So let's listen to everybody, or on my team, or in this meeting, to really realize that, just like from the movie with outer space creatures, that that each person, or each in the movie, each creature pod had a unique thing to offer us. So maybe that's happening in our organizations and our families. Maybe to think about it that way, that by listening really curiously about what it is they see, what they think, what their perspective is, what their solution is, maybe that's what's key to this whole thing. And maybe all of us putting it all together is why we're actually together. I don't know. Let me know what you think. And then how do I release a belief that I'm separate from them? So one of the main reasons we like to be right is because it makes other people wrong, really. We love to, this is historical conditioning. If you've been with me for a while, your conditioning's probably gone way down with all of that. But our historical conditioning is that we're separate from others and we want to stay separate. Why? Because that helps us feel safe. I mean, paradoxically, it really doesn't, because the more alone we feel and isolated and like I'm separate from everything else, actually we feel more insecurity, more frightened, more lack, all the things we don't want to feel. But that's what happens the more we feel separate. So we've really been conditioned to believe we're separate and to look for separation and to judge and assess and so on, to keep ourselves separate. So how do I release a belief that I'm separate? One of the things, so a belief is a thought, and we cannot change thoughts. Now we can have new thoughts like this, like the ones I just offered. You go, oh, I hadn't really thought about that before. Okay, so it's a new thought that came to you just now. So you'll probably notice that thought more often, more regularly. It'll come to you more regularly because you've seen it, you've heard it now. So technically we can't release a belief, but what we can do is two things. One is notice a thought, a belief that comes to you that's inconsistent with what we're talking about here, something about separation. So one way is to just relax your focus of attention from that. But what's just as critical, if not more so, is an experiential knowing of this. Because if our bodies still hold up this sense of separation, which goes with the thinking and the emotion that goes with separation, then it's going to be pretty hard to not pay attention to the beliefs that are consistent with our feelings of separation. And it sure seems like we're separate, right? Especially now, if you're watching this video, either live with me now, but you're somewhere else. I'm in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We're on the computer, or a week from now you're watching this video. So what couldn't be more separate, right? Time and space. And yet, right now, as you're watching this, listening to this, ask yourself if you can separate yourself in any way from the experience of hearing and seeing this. Is there any way for you to separate yourself from the experience of hearing and seeing me? Now, your mind might want to be saying, well, the sound's coming out of there, the computer's coming out of that, but that's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking, what is your experience? And where is your experience of hearing and seeing me? Can you separate yourself from the experience? And of course, the answer is no, because you're hearing and seeing me. There's no space between that. It's not you hear me and then there's a space and then you don't hear me. It's continuous, no separation. And so I invite you to keep sitting with that question, sitting with that, can I separate myself from this person I'm speaking with right now, or this animal, or this tree, or this sidewalk, and keep letting it sink in. So it's not a concept. Concepts will not help. Just having an idea about this will make no difference. So you want to keep experimenting and experiencing what I just offered you, and that's how you release the belief. Twofold. You just don't listen to it when it comes up in a thought form. You just let it go. I mean, you don't really even let it go. You just don't pay attention to it, and it will go on its own. Kind of like clouds in the sky. They just float away in their own time. Same thing with a thought. You just don't focus on it. It'll float away in its own time. Doesn't take long at all. But the second thing is to give yourself this reminder over and over again in your body that you can't find any separation. And that's what helps really solidify this. So I'll see if there are any questions or comments, and then I'll come back and review this. Okay, so I don't see any questions or comments yet. I'll come back one more time before we finish. All right. But I am right. I mean, it feels like it in all our bones, doesn't it? But I'm right. But then what we can do is remember, okay, I'm only seeing a minute perspective of the universe or this situation or even this room. So, okay, let me be open to another possibility. There are other points of view and perspectives. I don't know everything, can't know everything, and there's a whole gold mine over here with somebody else's experience and perspective. And then the mind expanding possibility for why to listen is of course a follow on from that, which is, yeah, right, what if we're all here in this situation right now just because each of us has a perspective, and in putting together all those perspectives is where we'll have some sort of phenomenal answer or idea or creative, mind-blowing creativity solution. You get the idea, even though I can't say it. That occurs for you. So to really open up to, yeah, we're all here, and we're all here in this situation or this family or this organization. Wow, no telling what might be present in each of these beings that could take us who knows where, or provide some sort of something for this, whatever it is we're working on. And then how do I release the belief that I'm separate from them? When we notice a thought, we just relax the focus of attention. It can take a while. It's not easy. Sometimes it's really hard because our emotions get caught up again. I'm right. I'm right. I know I'm right. Okay, well, that's reminding us that we believe we're separate, so just don't listen to it. It'll go away. And then to keep repeating this exercise of can I separate myself from this person in my experience? Can I separate my experience of this person? Sorry. Yeah. Can I separate myself from the experience? Let's see. Can I separate my experience of this person from this person? Uh-oh, I'm getting the thing all messed up. Can I separate can I separate myself from the experience of this person or this situation? So just see if you can separate yourself in any way from this person or this situation, or this tree, or this cat, this dog. You can separate yourself in your experience in any way. All right. Anything else today? Ah, hi Sue, you're here. Anything you want to say or add or ask? All right. So thank you for being here today. And let's see, anything else going on? Not right now. So I look forward to being with you again next week.